Good afternoon, everyone. It's Weather for Weather Geeks on this Tuesday. We're going to show you kind of some behind-the-scenes stuff here as we prepare for a busy period during midweek, and we're going to get a little more in-depth with weather than we can on TV. That's the whole point of these videos. On the TV side, I only have a couple of minutes, but I can talk for as long as I want on these and give you as much information as my little heart desires. And hopefully these don't prattle on for too long. Try to keep them under 10 minutes anyway for those who don't want to sit through a long video. We try to keep them fairly brief. So let's get right to it. This afternoon, it's cloudier than it was yesterday. It's more humid than it was yesterday, but it's also largely dry. These are the 2 o'clock hour temperatures. We're in the mid-70s generally. We'll keep rising a few more degrees before the end of the day. The dew points, yeah, they're up. Yesterday I showed you this map, and dew points were in the upper 40s to around 50. Lower 50s. It was very comfortable, but now you step outside today and you notice, hey, yeah, the atmosphere is moistening up. And that's because we do have a subtle boundary, a warm front, if you will, that is lifting through as we speak. It's kind of somewhere in here. It's kind of a subtle thing. It's not the strongest warm front or the most obvious warm front we've ever seen, but nonetheless, it is warming up. It is turning more humid, and we've got a pretty impressive looking low pressure system out here across the middle of the country. The center of that low, right about here. And then there's a warm front up here and a cold front back in here. Now this system, as it comes east, is going to start to cause some problems as we head especially into tomorrow and into tomorrow night. Right now it's not producing any severe weather just yet. The Storm Prediction Center for the rest of the day, though, will be watching the area in yellow here from Kansas up through Nebraska, Iowa, and as far east as Chicago by tonight for some storms that could potentially cause some damaging winds and some large hail. There's even a storm with a severe thunderstorm warning right now out in parts of Iowa. So that's kind of a quick overview of things currently. Real quickly, I want to take you up into Canada again and into the Northern Rockies and look at the cold air that's coming south. Sure, this is higher terrain. This is almost in the mountains up here in Alberta, but it's in the 30s. It's been snowing in some places. They're going to see snow down into the higher terrain of Montana over the next couple of days. So autumn, it's going to start winning more and more of these battles, and this will be the first battle it really wins this season in many locales. So we're going to start to feel the effects of that, certainly by the end of the week, temperature-wise. All right, so let's head into the future then, and we've been covering for the possibility of a quick shower or a sprinkle across northeast Ohio and western PA today. We had a couple of those earlier on, real hit or miss stuff, especially in Trumbull County. And here's just a real quick look at the simulated radar product for the rest of the day. Here it's 4 o'clock. The bark a little worse than the bite here. There might be a sprinkle trying to come up from the south, but the coverage is not going to be real impressive. Here's 6 o'clock this evening, particularly over toward I-79 perhaps in Pennsylvania. There could be a sprinkle or a shower. And then around sunset this evening, these will start to generally fade away and head off to the north and east. So bottom line for the rest of the day, if you've got something to do outdoors, be on the lookout for a quick 5-minute shower or a sprinkle. The umbrella is not a bad idea, but we're not looking at a lot of rain at all. Well, the bigger deal is certainly as we head into the day tomorrow. Let's skip ahead to about midday tomorrow and look at what we have going on here. Our storm system will have cruised out into the middle of the country here at midday tomorrow. We've got showers and storms lining up from Lake Michigan back through Chicago, heading just to the north of St. Louis as well. There's the center of our low up here in Wisconsin. And as these come east, they're running into the warm and humid air. And yeah, sure bet there's going to be some pretty nasty storms that get going by midday tomorrow. Skip ahead to about noon tomorrow, right around the lunch hour. Wait for the data to load here. And at this point, showers and storms lining up somewhere in through here, roughly from southwest Michigan back through parts of Illinois, northwest Indiana. And then towards the end of the afternoon tomorrow, let's skip ahead to, let's say, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Again, my internet connection's a little slow today, but you notice things are not progressing real fast here. By 4 o'clock, the stormy zone's probably still kind of out in here, not making much progress east. So here in the eastern half of Ohio into the western half of Pennsylvania, we're not worried about much in the way of rain at all during the daylight hours tomorrow. Here's 8 o'clock tomorrow evening as the sun is going down. Big storms east of Chicago, around South Bend, Indiana, approaching Fort Wayne, approaching Detroit. Surely there will be either a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch somewhere kind of like in through here at this point into the early evening for tomorrow. Well, what's this mean for us? The slower this system is, the better news it is for us, because I do think that this is going to take its sweet time coming through. It'll be the middle of the night tomorrow night, maybe even well after midnight, before this main line of storms comes through, and it'll have weakened as it does come through. So, we're talking about the wee hours of Thursday morning here. Here's a 2 a.m., here's 5 a.m., and by this point, this is the wrong time of day for much severe weather around here. Now, it might get loud for a while. Could be some damaging winds, an isolated event. Certainly some gusty winds, but a big ticket, large scale severe weather event just not looking all that likely to me because of the timing on this primarily, but also because the atmosphere, just is in better shape to produce severe weather out to our west. By about lunchtime on Thursday, we're almost in the clear here. Here's 11 a.m. on Thursday. And then into the early afternoon, the rain continues to push away, and temperatures may actually fall during the day on Thursday. So the highest risk of severe weather, the Storm Prediction Center has outlined much of central and north central Indiana, east central Illinois, and the 30% contour for the possibility of severe weather. The 15% contour comes to about Cleveland to Columbus to Cincinnati, roughly I-71. And then the odds of severe weather do decrease as you go over towards Youngstown. So we've been kind of talking about this for a couple of days now, and it looks like that's the way it is, in fact, going to work out. So we clear things out on Thursday, and then we'll head into Friday on a cool but largely dry note. Not much going on Friday. I feel like October. Speaking of October, here comes Saturday, and here comes a kind of a secondary little push of cool air along a front. Could be a stray shower or two with this on Saturday, and with clouds around. Saturday's going to feel like more like let's see, what is the date on Saturday? It's the 13th. It's going to feel more like October 13th rather than September 13th on Saturday. Sunday, probably the better half of the weekend, although it'll still be cool. And it looks like we hang on to the cool right into next week. So it's going to stay below average through at least the first half of next week. And here's the 8 to 16 day temperature anomaly forecast on the latest GFS ensemble model. It takes us from the morning of the 17th through the morning of the 25th. And, it still looks like it's below average in much of the east during that 8-day stretch or 7-day stretch. The west looks very, very warm. So this is a pattern much like we had over the winter, except now it's September, so we're not talking about snow and temperatures in the teens. We're talking about highs in the 60s for a lot of days coming up. And real quick, I posted this on social media yesterday. I talked about it on TV last night. A lot of you quizzing me about the winter you're hearing from various sources, whether it be on the internet or, the Farmer's Almanac or something like that. It's going to be a terrible winter. It's going to be worse than last year. Take a lot of that with a grain of salt. I beg of you. There's a lot of hype out there. There's a lot of websites that try to get clicks by scaring you. Any winter forecast made this early in the season has got some inherent problems. Now, that's not to say that every winter forecast made at this time of the year is wrong. Some of them will end up being right, but more will end up being wrong than end up being right. Even the blind squirrel finds the nut every now and then. But we are not going to put out any sort of responsible winter outlook until at least early November, if not mid-November. So you can look forward to that. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you on the TV side tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11. And thank you for watching Weather for Weather Geeks.